What kind of layer do I have? I have a regular layer. It shows an eye, correctly? Correct? Right? All right, so I showed you how to make a template. So I double clicked on the name, I selected template, and I unchecked dim images. Does it still show the eye? So now it's a template. When it's a template, when you see this rectangle, let's see what happens when I Command Y it. I just hit Command Y. Did it change? Look, I'm hitting Command Y a bunch of times. Has it changed? No. The point that I'm trying to make here is that when you are in outline mode, your images do not disappear if it's set up as a template. So if your image is in a template layer, it will not disappear when you go to outline mode. Okay? That's the difference. That's why we're setting it up as a template. All right, so let me draw something here, and I will prove it to you. All right. Look, here's a star with a gradient. Okay? I'm going to Command Y it. Did the star go to outline mode? The star did. Did the pencil go to outline mode? It did not. Back to preview, back to outline, back to preview, back to outline. Now, if my layer 1 was a regular layer, look, it's an eye again, okay? Layer 1's a regular layer. Look what happens. So if it's a template, when you go to outline mode, you still see the images in full resolution. Does that make sense? It may not be important right now, but it will be important later as we move forward. So I'm going to set this, I'm going to delete this layer. I'm going to stop, not this layer, I'm going to delete this file. I'm going to make a new file. I'm going to place that pencil image in here again. Is this layer a template? No. I'm going to double click to the right of the name. I'm going to set it up as a template and hit OK. Did I set that up correctly? What did I miss? I forgot to uncheck dim images. See how it looks washed out? So I'm going to uncheck dim images. Hit OK. Now you'll see it in full saturation. So whenever I make a blueprint or a reference image, I always uncheck dim, so that way I see the image in full saturation. Now the reason that's important is that if I ever want to sample this color, I want it to be the actual color. When I dim it, it's going to be a pastel. It's not the actual color. So that's why I uncheck dim images. Okay, so whenever I set up a template layer, and that's what this is a template layer, I make sure that it's locked. Okay, that means that I can't select it or move it. Okay, now I want to use this as a blueprint. I want to draw over it. Because this is my blueprint. I'm going to draw the actual illustration over it. Why do you think it's important to lock the layer? Why is it important that I lock the layer? I'm sorry? It's not affected by what I do. I don't accidentally select it, and I don't accidentally move it. It's always in the same spot. Now, let's say I accidentally move it, and I don't notice it for a few minutes. Is it going to be easy for me to place it back where it was? Depends. It may not be. I don't know. But I don't want to waste that time. All right, so it's really important that you lock the layer. And I normally call my template layers, I usually call them my blueprint. I'll usually call it my blueprint layer, or I'll call it my reference image. My reference image. So you'll notice I want to draw, I'm going to use this as a blueprint, and I want to draw a pencil over it, an illustrated pencil. Now I'm going to go to one of these rectangles And look, what is the file telling me? Look at that icon right there. What does it say? You cannot what? I cannot draw. So look, I'm trying to draw. I can't draw. I can't draw anything. What's going on? I can't draw anything. What's going on? I need you to help me, guys.
It's locked.
So this layer's locked, but it's my blueprint layer. I don't want to draw on my blueprint layer, but it's locked. So what should I do? Create a new layer. Perfect. So I'm going to make a new layer. It's layer 2. Okay, now I can change this name later. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it, but now that it's layer 2, I can draw objects inside of it. Okay, so the point is, when I set up a file that has a blueprint or a reference image, I place the image first and I turn it into a special layer. What is that special layer called? A template layer. I set it up as a template layer. It's locked. And then anything that I draw, I make a new layer and draw on top of it. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Does that make sense? Okay, so what I'd like you to do is I want you to practice for the next 5 minutes. I want you to practice placing an image and setting it up as a template. And that's all I want. And I'm going to walk around and I want to see this rectangular shape and I'll lock. It's really important that it stays